Hey everyone, it's Melissa here with Anita Goodesign, and today I'm excited to join you to stitch out an awesome project we have that is our Festive Fringe Ornaments. Now, these are super cute ornaments, perfect for the holiday season, and we're going to walk you through how to do fringe step by step, as well as create these adorable two-sided ornaments. So let's take a look at the materials you'll need, and we can go ahead and get started. To begin the project, you will need 2 pieces of wash-away stabilizer. One piece has already been used in order to construct the back file for our design. Since I've already stitched that out, I have it here trimmed and waiting for the second hooping. You'll also want some handy-dandy spray adhesive or tacky spray. You'll definitely need a seam ripper in order to create your fringe, as well as some high loft batting, your base materials of choice, as well as a fun applique, and some additional notions to include tape, scissors, a ribbon so you can hang your ornament, and a color palette of threads to go with your chosen design. Again, I already went ahead and stitched out the back file, which is what you'll need to create first in order to create this project. From here, I've hooped a new piece of wash-away stabilizer to fit my hoop, and we'll go ahead and load the second file, which should end with the letter M in it. With that file loaded, we can hoop our design and begin. With a thread color put into our machine, we can begin the first step, which will be a placement stitch indicating where our base fabric will go. Now you can take your choice of base material and place it over the placement stitches, ensuring you cover them on all sides. From there, we can run our tacking stitch step. Once the tacking stitch has been ran and your base fabric is secured, you can continue on to run the placement stitch for the first standard applique. With the placement stitch ran, it's time to place our applique fabric for, in this case, a Christmas tree, so I'm choosing a green linen material. You'll take your fabric and place it right side up over the placement stitches, ensuring you've covered them entirely. Notice that we interface the back of our fabric so you can tell which side is the face side. From here, you can return the hoop to the machine and run the tacking stitch step. With our tacking stitch ran to secure the applique, we can now take a pair of curved tip embroidery scissors and trim away the excess material. With the excess fabric trimmed, we can return the design to the hoop and start the embroidery process. Once your embroidery is finished on the front of the design, it's time to create the fringe effect on our threads. For this part, we're going to flip the hoop to the back side. It's important to note that certain satin stitches have been created to have a skinny anchoring satin stitch that runs along the top. We only want to slice the satin stitches that are intended to be cut for the fringe, so make sure to reference your design tutorial and note which stitches are the anchoring stitches. For my stitch out example here, the dark green stitches will not get sliced, and we will slice the bobbin stitches of the silver satin stitches. So at this point, I'll take my seam ripper, locate the bobbin thread of those silver colored stitches, and gently tear through them. Make sure to take care not to slice your fabric or your stabilizer in the process. Once all the rows have been sliced for your fringing, we'll flip back to the front of the hoop, and at this point we'll create the loop fringe. My pro tip for you is to take a seam ripper or something else sharp and pointy and gently brush the threads with the material or the tip of your seam ripper. So as you can see here, as we brush them, the loops start to come up from the bottom of the fabric and they create that fun fringe effect. Now you don't have to pull on them very hard, just give them a little brush or flick them with your hand. However you want to do the fringe is up to you, but just make sure you don't pull out that top anchor stitch. So at this point, they should be held down on one edge and create that nice fluffy technique. Once you're satisfied with the fringe on your design, you can flip the hoop over to the back side again. At this point, we'll take the design we finished in the first hooping and keep that nearby while we grab our high loft batting to add inside the design. So at this point, we'll take our high loft and cover the bobbin stitches and use tape to secure it in place. Once the high loft batting is taped down, you can return the hoop to the machine and run the tacking stitch step. Once your high loft batting has been tacked down, we can remove the excess tape and then use our pair of curved tip scissors to trim away that excess high loft. Once our high loft batting has been trimmed, it's time to take our ribbon and place it in the back of the design. Fold your ribbon in half and then insert it about a ½ inch into the design and use a piece of tape to secure. Make sure to also use a piece of tape on the top of the design. That way your ribbon won't get stuck in the machine. From there, we'll take our file we created in the first hooping, which is the back of our ornament, and place it over the back of the design. Use tape to secure the file in place, aligning the outer tacking stitch to the stitches on the stabilizer. From there, we can return the hoop to the machine and run the tacking stitch step. Once the special tacking stitch has been ran, securing your back file to the front of the design, we now can remove the excess tape. We suggest keeping a piece on the top loop, that way that loop stays out of the way of the machine. If you have any remaining tape stuck in the stitches, you can pick it out at this time. Once you've removed the excess tape, you can take your scissors and trim away any remaining seam allowance around the back side of the design. Make sure not to cut off your ribbon. From there, once the back is trimmed, we can flip back to the front side, and we'll repeat the same process here, trimming away that excess fabric. At this point, our ornament should be trimmed on both the front and the back side of the hoop. At this point, you can change out your bobbin to match the top thread and run your final satin stitch color. Once your satin stitches have finished running and the design is complete, it's now time to remove it from the stabilizer. You can use a pair of scissors to cut away the design and trim close, but don't cut too close. For quick removal, I'm going to slip my scissors into the stabilizer and just trim away around the design. Make sure, again, not to cut off your ribbon. Once you have removed the design from the stabilizer, it's time to rinse it out. You'll want to use hot or warm water and make sure the stabilizer dissolves entirely in the edges of the design. Then you'll lay it flat to dry. We went ahead and stitched out a second sample so you all can see what it looks like when it's finished. As you can tell, the fun fringe is on both sides of the design, and this will look beautiful displayed on your holiday Christmas tree. The collection for Festive Fringe includes a bunch of other fun shapes and designs as well, and the colors and threads can be switched out or combined differently to match your holiday decor. I hope you enjoyed learning how to stitch out a festive fringe ornament, and I hope you have a chance to try out the fringe technique soon. Thanks for watching and happy stitching!